Good evening, students. Welcome to this last day of a fantastic journey I had with you. So, we have Darshan, Gundu Chandrasekhar, Himanshu, Harshit, Rajiv Kumar Singh, Ankit. Okay, so good evening to all of you. And Gundu Chandrasekhara says, sir, this is last lecture in entire CA course of this subject. So hope that this subject, okay, that's a long-term proposition. But I was like excited to take today's lecture so that we can close it. Just giving you opening some time to put any query you have from any of the chapters we have talked about. So now we have Brinda, she has also joined. Now, so today, because we have gone through all the 5 chapters of the paper 7A EIS. So today what we are going to have at the end of the session today, we are going to have lot of MCQ. One MCQ set will be, both are case study based. One will be based on chapter 5 and one MCQ set we are going to take from the whole 5 chapters consolidated. So MCQ that keeps tag of all the chapters. So that is how we want to start. Diksha is also there. Good evening. Now, so just last 10 seconds to you for any queries you have, and then we'll start. Manisha, good evening. Now, so let us start. We were here, treasury process, the last day. Then last 5 minutes we'll have, I told you that last day we'll have something different to talk about, how to read, how to study like that. So, treasury processes, now you need to understand that what you are looking at. So, I told you that you need to review listed companies' balance sheet. So, we gave a choice that what listed companies' balance sheet you can read through. So, one is a manufacturing entity, other is a software company, one is a bank. So, in fact, in your bank audit, in bank accounting, if you have seen those, the way profit and loss and balance sheet is prepared, so you will find in those balance sheet and profit and loss account, if you look to the income head of a bank, so there are two major source of income the bank has. One is the interest income we talked about day before yesterday, that whole MCLR, marginal cost of lending, base rate, repo rate, then this net interest margin we talked about. The second source of income that the bank has is basically from its treasury operation. Treasury operations are the investments that the bank has to do. So there are some statutory mandated investment. During our course of discussion, we talked about 3 words: CRR, cash reserve ratio; SLR, statutory liquidity ratio; and ALM, asset liability management, as a policy a bank has to follow. So to ensure that the CRR SLR is as per the mandate given by Reserve Bank of India, bank has to keep specified sum as investments in designated securities, designated funds. So on that investment, bank earns income. It may be by dividend, interest, as the case may be. So that part is treasury operation. So you're basically looking to the second highest income earning source for bank, that is its treasury operations, and it has implication in bank's balance sheet also and bank's profit and loss account also. So this is treasury operation. Just for the sake of remembrance, so that you can carry this, 1992, there was a big bank scam referred to as Harshad Mehta scam. So in that scam, one of the core issues was basically the investments held by bank as a part of its compliance with SLR, CRR were found to be non-existent. So just carry this word. So this idea, this link I gave, so that if you read through, there's a movie on that, there's a series on OTT platform. So it's a good series to go through that gives you understanding of how this whole fraud was created. So that is treasury operation. So what bank does, it invests in specified securities. It can be government securities. normally referred to as GSEC shares, other investments like commercial papers, certificate of deposits, security receipts, PTCs, that is pass-through certificates, mutual fund units, venture capital funds, real estate funds, debentures, and bonds. So these are various categories of investment that the bank may be doing. Then, now all this we are going to read from the module itself so that you can gain an understanding. Just let us read the headers: the dealing room, the middle office, back office, process flow, and the risk and controls. So as we read through the module, I'll share with you exactly how these operations are done. I've already given you a background that what exactly you are looking at, and that scam also I brought to your knowledge. So I'll just allow me a second to bring the module. So here is Treasury Operations. So they got money without GR. R has to be receipt. Okay. So yeah, it was basically the what was called as a BR, I think. Sunil Kumar, please recheck. I know it as a BR, not exactly as a GR, banker's receipt. Reuters training. Manisha, no, I missed that. Has it to do something with the topic we are there, or is it part of the module? You can tell, then I'll just run through that. Okay. Now, core operations. So it's basically treasury operations are the investment part. There are two basic aspects to this. First is that Reserve Bank of India has mandated that bank has to maintain statutory liquidity ratio and cash reserve ratio. So for maintaining, the bank may have to do some investment. So that is part of the treasury operations. And bank may be, there may be surplus funds that they want to invest, then that they can do. Okay. So front office consists of dealing room wherein the dealers enter deal with various corporate and interbank counterparties. So just carry as it is. Achha, Reuters trading. Oh, you said training, Manisha. Reuters trading, I'll tell you. Okay, it's here. I was reading there. Trading. It's training. I'll tell you what it is exactly. So now please understand that what you are looking at. So this transaction is a very high value transaction. Okay. So suppose I am a bank. Now, just for the sake of understanding, let me define, say, CRR or CRR. So exactly what cash reserve ratio is. So for understanding purpose, I'm using these words. Okay. So CRR is basically a specified percentage of banks' time and demand liabilities are calculated. So what is that value? So I'm reading the definition of CRR. So bank has to identify time and demand liabilities as they exist on the second Friday of the second fortnight of the month for the next month. So they calculate the time and demand liabilities on this date, and a specified percentage has to be maintained in cash as bullion, balance with Reserve Bank and balance with other bank. That is for CRR. Same goes for statutory liquidity ratio. So the time and demand liabilities as calculated on second Friday of the second fortnight of the month for the next month, banks have to maintain investments as a percentage of this amount, time and demand liabilities in specified securities. Okay. So because bank has to maintain these amount as investments, as assets in their balance sheet, so there is a virtual tracking, in fact, minute to minute tracking of exactly what is the liability that the bank is carrying. And suppose I am a bank, and I'm short of the requirement of SLR. So I need to invest 1,000 crores. So see, the value of transaction is very high. That is why this lot of tracking is done, lot of systems have been built on this whole maintenance of CRR and SLR. And wherever this, so I am a banker. Now I want to have 1,000 crores as invest. So I need to buy something as investment, as a security, as an asset, investment asset. So if I want to buy, there has to be a seller. So whenever you talk of buyer and seller, so it creates a dealer or a dealing room location where people are going to talk like that. Now this is what that Reuters trading system has come. So it's basically there is a I'll let me write that word. There is a word called as LIBOR, London Interbank Operational Rate. So it is calculated on a specified percentage, specified value, interest rate that exists on a Reuters system. So Reuters is a designated like an exchange where these values are calculated. So now originally we had LIBOR that was calculated on Reuters value, London Interbank operational rate like that. Then now we have MIBOR also, MIBOR, Mumbai Interbank Operational Rate. So that is also being used today. No, Darshan, no, it's just it is a head, it is done at head office level. It is done at head office level. Yeah. Okay. So they're all, because you see, it's a very voluminous value. The value of each transaction is high. First, second, this whole is normally done for statutory compliances. So a lot of focus is there. Reserve Bank of India keeps a real-time tracking of how the banks are performing. So that is why a lot of things are built into this. So that is front operation. Then middle office includes risk management, responsibility of treasury accounting and documentation of various types, input into regulatory reporting, producing the financial results, analysis and the forecast for treasury business unit. So here the main accounting and risk assessment is done. And back office operation are the mainstream role of back office is direct support to trading or front office. This includes verification by confirmation, settling, checking existence of valid, enforceable. Now these are just remember the words as they appear. No need to define them. Enforceable International Swap Dealers Association Agreement and reconciliation of Nostro accounts as soon as possible. An important development is back office that has been advent of straight through processing, also called of hands off exception processing. Kindly carry these words, remember as they appear in the module. This has been made possible through enforcement of system to real-time online input in trading rooms. So a lot of technology has been put into this treasury operations and tracking of them. So this is what back office operation does. And you can keep the flowchart. So the flowchart is good to understand and remember. So front office, the functionality, the core functions, middle office, the core functions, back office, the core functions, and how the deal is being done through. So that is how this whole operations has just, if you want to visualize, so you need to calculate the requirement. So I've defined the statutory definition of CRR and SLR. So on that specified day, banker is going to calculate what is the need. Then they need to know what exactly is their status. Say, for example, just check it. As I remember right now, the cash requirement ratio as on date is, I think, 4%. Okay. You can just Google out and confirm that. So CRR is 4%, means that much amount bank has to keep in cash in with other bank, cash with RBI in bullion. And statutory liquidity ratio, I think it's 18% or 20%, as the case may be. So bank, now this is the statutory requirement. So there are at least three major calculations. First, what Reserve Bank wants you to have. Second, what is your status now? Means for 18% compliance with SLR, how much you have. That means your accounting has to be that real time. Then what is the gap? So suppose Reserve Bank says you require 18% and you are 17.90. So you need 0.10 additional. Now 0.10 additional, maybe 10,000 crores. So 10,000 crores new specified category of securities you need to buy through. So then you need to go into open market, see the availability, and there are exchanges where these transactions are done. So it's a huge, means lot of volume, speed, and values associated with this. Okay, thank you, Ankit. So CRR is 4.5 and SLR is 18. Great. So see, now this CRR, SLR, you have been reading in bank account, bank audit. Now, you here what you need to understand that, okay, that is good. But now, why this relevance of this chapter, as I understand, is that this helps you understand, this tells you the hard work. I don't know whether you know it, but I somehow feel that we must see how all over this, the roti that we eat at our home. So what is the process? So the process of roti is doesn't from the grain itself. Okay. The chapatis and the fulkas and the parathas we all eat. So that is first you have the flour, and before the flour you have the grain, and before the grain comes to you, it has to be at the wholesaler. Before it comes to the wholesaler, it has to be in a mandi. Before it comes to the mandi, it has to be at the farmer's place. Before it goes to the farmer's go down, it has to be in farm. Before it grows in the farm, the farmer has to do the sowing. So that tells you the intensity of the job. You dig in. So this tells you that 4.5 and 18%, that is good. But that let us do the hard work. करते कैसे हैं? पढ़ लिया ठीक है. So this is the hard work part of it, and very important. In fact, as of now, but it's enjoyable. Once you get into that, you start enjoying it. Okay. So Ankit and Darshan and Sunil, thanks for the update. Then risk and controls in treasury operations. So now, see, please understand that you will always get a good, see, these are direct questions in examination. These tables, risk and controls, for all that we have talked about day before yesterday and prior lectures and today's lecture also. So what is needed? So you will gain good understanding of risk, of the two words, risk and control. I am asking you, okay, which is born first? Risk or control में जन्म पहले किसका हुआ? Say it in the chat. Which is born first out of risk and control? Okay. So to get good understanding, grasp on the table how to reproduce the same in examination, always try to gain good understanding of the basic business operation. This is a core. I told you day one when we started this lecture, I told you that those of you who are doing articleship and those of who you are going to start your articleship over a period of time. So when you go for audit at any location, and my point was say manufacturing location, so I'll prefer you don't do the audit first day. पहले दिन audit करना ही नहीं. कभी boss डांट दे तो डांट खा लेना उससे. But what you need to do is that visit the plant if it is a manufacturing location, go as a raw material in the plant and appear as finished goods with all the precautions that you need to have a helmet and proper boots and like that. With all precautions, believe me, once you have gone through the actual manufacturing process and then you start doing audit, your quality of audit will be improved more than 200 times. Phenomenal change is the way you look at that audit now, because you know, see, account is going to capture the business. Account is not born, business is born. So account is helping. You always call accounting as a service department. So you must always know the business first. So to get good understanding of this, we must always try to put as much effort as understanding business. And that is why I've been telling you that please read financial newspapers daily. You can do it online. Start reading listed companies' balance sheet. These are going to fundamentally change the way you look to the whole syllabus that we are into. Yes, risk is born. Risk is born first. So, in fact, when you say control, so we say controls are put in place to mitigate risk. So, if you only read the definition, the answer is there that first is risk, then is control. Okay. So, that is now. So, reading the risk for treasury operations, unauthorized securities set up in system such as back office, front office. Now, see, please understand, unauthorized securities means try to understand the impact value of this. I've told you that these transactions are not like 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore, 10 crore. The transaction are 100 crore, 500 crore, 1000 crore, 10,000 crores. So unauthorized securities setup means it's a huge issue that you are talking about. Then the best is appropriate controls, segregation of duties. Then inaccurate trade is processed. Now this is a disaster. Huh? The 10,000 crores trade going wrong, inaccurate. So it's a huge thing. So that is why lot of maker checker is there. There are multiple layers while the transaction is authorized. So lot of inbuilt system built checks are also put so that this disasters doesn't occur. Then processing of unauthorized confirmation, again a huge issue. So you need to have proper confirmations from the party. In insufficient settlement of security, again, see, please understand, there is a lot of implication in each of the risk. Just reading means you can keep it as it is, but if you try to see what does it mean, then it's a huge implication. So this insufficient security is available for settlement. I'm trying to relate to you. It's basically like short selling. You got the word short selling. I think you understand. तो शॉर्ट सेल कर दिया है नहीं और बेच दी ऐसा. So you need to ensure that how securities are there and how margins are put into that. Then incomplete, inaccurate data flow between system, inter-system reconciliation interfaces and batch processing. So proper control. Then insufficient funds are available. Again, it is reflection of poor calculations. So I've told you that a lot of controls are being put in place. So these clearing agencies, the clearing corporations which allow this transaction, there are two banks. I want 10,000 crores and this bank has say 10,000 crores available. We will not be able to talk to each other directly. There has to be an intermediary that ensures that the transaction is properly done. So that is CCIL is one of the intermediaries, Clearing Corporation of India Limited. This keeps a route. It's like an exchange where you can sell and buy these treasury bonds and like that. So everything has to be properly done. Then incorrect nostro payments process. Again, it's a big thing. There has to be proper control on nostro, reconciliation and payments. So that is treasury operation. So let us continue the discussion because the next loans and trade finance also we are going to do in the module itself. Okay, let me bring the slide, then we'll go to the module again. Then internal controls system in bank, loan and trade finance processes. So multiple type of credits. We've talked about fund-based, non-fund-based loans. We already had a good discussion on that. Okay, let us go ahead. So fund-based is cash credits, overdrafts, demand loans, term loans, bill discounting. Non-fund based, letter of credit, letter of guarantee. We already had a good MCQ also on this. And then the core understanding, the business understanding of these will come to you from your other subjects. That includes accounts, that includes financial management, that includes auditing also. So your business understanding comes from that. Then process flow is virtually same. We'll take it from the module now. So I'm not reading fund-based and non-fund-based. We have already gone through this. Now, how the process is done. So customer master creation in loan disbursement system, which may be core banking system or maybe a separate system, which periodically interfaces with core banking system. Now, see what has been done. This all frauds that have occurred. So this last line is virtually now restricted. It doesn't exist. So I'm just underlining that. This idea about separate loan tracking system, Reserve Bank of India has asked that it must not be there. And even if it is there is no concept of periodical interface. It has to be real-time interface. So this, if you recall the PNB Nirav Modi fraud, if you have any recall of that. So the one problem of why the fraud occurred, one system-related issue we talked about some days back, that job rotation is a very mandatory thing that has to be done. So PNB Nirav Modi fraud, one flaw was that the bank employee that was tracked to be part of the whole scheme of fraud, that person was not transferred from that specific bank branch for more than 6 years. So that was first indication. Second, again a system related system related flaw that was tracked in that fraud was that suppose the Punjab National Bank had its core banking system like Finacle they use. So Finacle is here at the top. Now this fraud was done on something called as a letter of undertaking, LOU. Yeah, letter of undertaking. So these letter of undertakings were not exactly synonym of letter of guarantee, but in nature of that. Not synonym, but in nature, they were non-fund based like that. So this banks had issued letter of undertaking based on some security which did not exist. So this Finacle is working on the top. So your balance sheet P&L is being prepared by Finacle. And because letter of undertaking is being issued by a system that is not interfaced with Finacle, it is working below Finacle. Okay. And because it is not affecting any fund flow, so no impact is there. So when this PNB Nirav Modi fraud came to light, there was it was a eye opener for all because the company Infosys, I read a lot of public reports on that. So Infosys, the creator of Finacle, already had an interface for this. That if you have anything that is you are issuing any transaction that is not interfaced to Finacle, then they had what they call as an API. Okay, so it was already linked to this, but the bank did not implement it. So that was another reason of. So one transaction is flowing below because and it is not having a financial implication directly on the day of creation. There is no fund flow, and the Finacle is working on the top. So that periodic reconciliation doesn't exist in an option now. It has to be, even if the RBI says don't have a separate system. If you have a separate system, you don't go for periodic, it is real-time reconciliation. So just update this. Okay. Then the process, I'm not reading through the process. Varsha, Nostro Vostro are basically foreign currency accounts. So one is like our bank's account in State Bank has a account in New York. That is Vostro, and Bank of America is going to have an account in India. That is Nostro. So Nostro Vostro. Basically allowing this foreign currency transaction to be routed through a specified account. So I'm not reading through the steps, you can read through. So that is taken care in others part of syllabus also. Then I'll read the headers and the key things. Now in this we have been talking about this pre-disbursement certificate in saving bank. And so I told you that pre-disbursement certificate in a CASA account is an irrelevant issue, current account, saving account. But here, PDC, if you see that pre-disbursement certificate is very much relevant in the whole process of this loan accounting. So the best place you have pre-disbursement relevance is here. Yeah. PDC. That is pre-disbursement certificate. So that is very important for this accounting of, yeah, here it is. Loans and what you are talking about. So when bank sanctions, so they first issue a pre-disbursement certificate for the, yeah, here it is. So it has all details. Before you disburse, you create a pre-disbursement certificate with all details of the proposed borrower. So PDC is most relevant in this part of the discussion. Then loan disbursal, facility utilization and income accounting. Now, so once everything is done, the funds are sanction is there, the availment is there. Yes. The facility product requested are offered to customer after verifying limits, everything is done. In case of fund-based loan, term loans, overdraft, cash credits, the funds are dispersed to customer's bank's account and corresponding asset is recorded in the loan account recoverable from the customer. Then, okay, so advance given by bank appears as an asset in the balance sheet of the bank. That is how you do it. There is only one thing. Okay, let me ask you, term loan, overdraft, cash credit. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm writing a word. You have to say how it is done. So I'll have 2, 3 words. First is sanctioned limit. Okay. Sanctioned. Suppose the sanctioned loan amount is 10 crore. So 10 crore has been sanctioned. Yeah. 10 crore has been sanctioned. Now, my question to all of you is that so sanction is 10 crore. Suppose sanction is done today. So the disbursement, suppose it happens tomorrow. So disbursement will be generally equal to 10 crore or less than 10 crore. Let me repeat the question. The sanction loan is 10 crore. I'm not talking about any category. It can be temporary, term loan, cash credit. Overdraft is an exception. So you don't sanction an overdraft initially, okay, unless it is a secured OD. So if sanction loan is say, sorry, spelling of loan is incorrect. Sorry. Let me correct that. So sanctioned loan is say 10 crores. You have to say whether the disbursement is going to be 10 crores or less than that the next day of sanction. You have to say less or equal. Yes, less than 10 crore. Good. So Harshit, Gundu Chandrasekhara. So see, disbursement is a time drawn process. It is based on the terms and conditions of the loan. Suppose I am taking term loan for construction of a plant building. So my disbursement is going to be based on my construction, the way construction is progressing. Suppose I am taking a loan of 10 crores for as a cash credit loan, then I have to submit my stock statements, and based on the available stock statements and the margin that the banker has to reduce, and it calculates what is called as a drawing power. So that much amount is sanctioned. So sanction and disbursement amount need not be same on the date of sanction. The disbursement can be a time drawn process. Over a period of time, the say amount of the loan can be disbursed. How you disburse, how banks give, that is based on the terms and conditions of the sanction. Yes, generally less. Good. Then, in case of bill discounting, the customer is credited the invoice amount, excluding the interest as per the agreed upon terms. Interest income is generally accrued on daily basis. So that is a daily product basis, what you say. In case of non-fund based limits, the facilities are granted to customer up to assigned limit in loan disbursement system. Contingent entries are posted for assets and liabilities. Commission is calculated. So I told you the day one, the commission is there. And if my letter of credit devolves, then I get interest. Okay. So then you can, it's a good table. Just remember this table for good understanding. Okay. So cash credit overdraft, interest accrued on daily basis. Demand loan, term loan, interest, daily basis. Bill discounting income, interest is again daily. Bank guarantee commission accrued over a period of tenor of the bank guarantee. Letter of credit, commission accrued over a period of letter of credit. Bank guarantee is letter of credit. So this is how the process of the loan flows. So I'm not going through the flow chart. Yeah. Process for fund-based, non-fund-based, you go through them. Then risk and control. Now, here the word credit line setup is important because based on the sanction, based on the drawing power calculated, this is important. In fact, a lot of this statutory bank branch audit, concurrent auditors, there's an internal audit, there's an inspection, Reserve Bank of India auditors are also there at the branch, they call as RBI inspection, and then revenue auditors, stock auditors. So these various category of auditors who provide some services to bank. So all these within their scope of operation, their scope of audit, one of the, because the more all the audit that I have talked about, their core focus is on the advances part, because advances, the risk is there, advances, the income is there for the bank. So whether any mistake has been done at that location, and to that extent, this table is important. So I'll not read through this. You understand the key issue. I'll just run through that. Okay. Just remember, we have talked a lot on this, so I'm not reading the table like that. The one or two I'll just refer to so that we can link to the previous discussion. Yeah, this one. Credit line setup can be breached in loan disbursement system. Now, please understand. See, so what exactly it is saying? It is saying that suppose the sanction limit is 10 crores, then system allows a breach of that. So let us read the condition. Loan disbursement system, core banking system restricts booking of loan facilities if the limit assigned to the customer is breached in loan disbursement system or core banking system. Now you need to understand. Suppose I ask you whether this is possible. You have to say yes, no. Let me highlight that. Whether this is possible. You have to say yes, no. Okay. Now, the core. No, it's a. It's a. The last they have to change the three words. So against bank guarantee, they have to say letter of credit. Okay. Then yeah, same risk is repeated. The core idea is same like that. Okay. Some changes could have been done, but let us take as it is. Okay. Now, so first was that can credit line setup be breached? You have to say yes, no. Now see, there is a concept of we called about overdraft within banking parlance. Yes. So within banking, there is a concept of what they call as temporary overdraft or they call it ad hoc limit. Now see what happens. Just understand business. Let us look from the business. I am a bank customer and I have cash credit limit of 10 crore is sanctioned to me. The status today is that I have already used 9.5 crores. 10 crore is sanctioned. I have used 9.5 crores. Now, please understand, business is a continuous process. Tomorrow, a check is hits my bank account for 75 lakh. My sanction limit is 10 crore. I have utilized 9.5 crores. A check of 75 lakh hits my cash credit account. So, if it is debited, my utilized limit will be 10.25 crore. Sanction is 10 crore. Now, on the face of it, if you look, the credit line is breached. अगर उसको सीधे सीधे देखें कि भाई 10 करोड़ की सैंक्शन लिमिट है, 9.5 करोड़ मैंने यूज कर ली है, 75 लाख का एक चेक और डेबिट हो जाएगा खाते में, तो मेरी यूज लिमिट हो जाएगी 10 करोड़ 25 लाख. So if I read that simply, it's a breach. But then please understand business. If I have made payment to a vendor who is supplying me critical raw material, then and the due amount is 75 crores, I have to 75 lakhs, I have to pay 75 lakhs. I cannot say pay 50 lakhs and then I'll pay you 25 lakhs later on. So business is a ongoing rolling process. So what the bankers do, bankers allow that, okay, if your sanction limit is 10 crores, we will allow a breach up to 5%. That becomes your ad hoc limit. So if 10 crore is sanctioned, any day I can have 10.50 as my outstanding balance. But then it is subject to condition. What is the condition? That this temporary overdraft will only stay for 2 days. Bank is going to charge interest. Huh? Bank is going to charge interest. 50 lakh, the additional 50 lakhs or 25 lakhs that is debited to my account, the bank is going to charge interest. So they are going to earn. So that is not an issue. But my sanction is 10 crores. So then you don't restrict because then it will be cutting off business. How you can do? So then this concept is built into system. So today, the core banking systems of the bank has evolved to such a level that these breaches, these overdrafts are already well planned, documented in the bank system. And if any account hits an ad hoc limit or a temporary overdraft, an exception is generated at the end of the day. Mandatory. I told you when we were talking about this, when we started day one lecture, there was this start of the day report at the branch and end of the day report branch. This end of the day report branch that is generated, this end of the day report has this marking that this account has a sanction of 10 crores and today the outstanding is 10.25 crores. That is. So it's part of the system. Okay. Yes. So system allows it because then you cannot cut business like that. You have to look from the business aspect. Then again, next one, I'm taking these points because these allow good discussion to be taken. Lower rate of interest, commission may be charged. Now, see, please understand, again, core banking system has evolved to a phenomenal level. Banks have got what they called as an interest rate table. Now, if you read the advertise, all public sector, private sector bank have big advertisements in newspapers, magazines today. So they tell you that this is our product, a home loan product or a term loan product, and this is the rate of interest. So what has been done? The bank's core banking system has a table. So product table. So there's a name of the product and the basic charges of interest that bank can charge on that product. So that is already there. But to these exceptions are there. We talked about, in fact, one of you did say it. I think Varsha said that if for a product, the rate of interest is generally 10%, but the borrower's CIBIL rating is good, the credit score of borrower is very good, then bank can give a discount. So then this exception is documented in system that the product rate is 10%, but because the borrower is good, the credit history of borrower is good, the CIBIL score is good, we are giving 0.25% as a benefit to the borrower. So now the charge interest is 9.75, but it is documented. Everything is documented. So even if the rate of interest is lower, it can be allowed in system and it is documented in system. Yeah, there's a limit on that. Is why I've said 5%. I said there's a limit of breach. Yeah. We did not miss that aspect. Yes, accept it. Then inaccurate interest charging. Now, see, today core banking systems have evolved to a phenomenal level. This generally doesn't happen. Where it happens is where the interest rate there's a manual intervention in the bank system. Say this example I have taken that the interest has to be 10%. The product interest is 10%. The bank is giving benefit of 0.25%. So the final rate of interest will be 9.75. This 0.25 is a manual intervention. The discount in a rate of interest is a manual intervention. So inadvertently, or if someone wants to create a fraud, he puts 0.5% as a discount. So that means now the account will be debited for an interest that is 9.5%. So the tracking has to be done. And believe me, systems are absolutely fantastic. Any change that you do in any master, any rate of interest, any sanction limit, they are all documented and they are generated as amendment to the master along with the end of day report. So tracking is absolutely phenomenal in bank core banking system today. Okay. Then we'll go to the module. Then reporting system, MIS, data analytics and business intelligence. So I'll bring today's PPT. Just give me a second. That was day 2. So that is day 3. So these are opening slides. I've run through them. We've gone through the treasury process, loan process. Yeah, here it is. Now, main topic for this is topic I always felt module has means now the paper is not there in the syllabus, but module only gives 1 page to this topic. Okay. So let us start. So we'll be putting some more input on this topic. Okay. So the first question that I want you to answer is this. The word, I'll underline a word. I want you to tell what exactly is this word. Means the literal meaning of the word. So you have to tell me what is Basel. Now, So let me let me read through this. So I will be adding a lot in this. So there's some lot of notings you have to do. Huh? It's only a one page discussion in the module. It had to be there has to be something more in this, because see, as an auditor, you are basically looking to this. So this example of I gave as an end of day report, the exception reports, this marking of transactions like the ad hoc limits. These are all part of reporting system of the bank. They had to be brought here. Yeah, good. So thank you, Gundu Chandrasekhar. This is exactly the answer I was seeking. Basel is a city, I think it is in Switzerland. So all central bankers of the world, our RBI chairman and like all central bank chairmen, they mandatorily meet once a year. साल में एक बार बेसल जाते ही हैं. So now that city has become synonymous with banking norms. No, it's a city name, Manisha. Basel is a town, I think, in Switzerland, as I know it. So this has become synonymous with the banking norms. All central bankers, once a year, they meet mandatory. But during COVID, because COVID was a exception, so they had multiple meetings because the whole world was put upside down like that. So this members of the this chairman of the central bank of the world, countries of the world, they met more than once because the bank was taking lot of hits. Now, so what Basel is? So Basel is a city where all central bankers of the world sit together and make an analysis of macroeconomic factors, microeconomic factors, the way world economy is going. Like today, the Russia-Ukraine war is forcing all the bankers of the world to consider the impact of the war on the economy across the world. We had a period of very high crude oil prices. Now it has stabilized because very high crude oil prices were there. The petrol, diesel prices, the input cost. India is a net more than 85% of our petrol, diesel we import. So it has a huge impact on balance of payments. So then again, it has an impact on the economy of the country. So because the petrol diesel price, the core price increased, so that led to increase in price of commodities that included the consumer products, the industrial products. This has an impact on inflation. So inflation goes up. Now when inflation goes up, Reserve Bank of India has to do something to keep inflation low. So this is all this understanding, all this discussion, all the central bankers of the world or central bank of the countries of the world sit together, decide how they want to respond. So they create a guidance for that. That guidance is released as a Basel guidance. Now, what you are looking at is Basel III. So that means Basel 1, Basel 2 are already done through. They have been implemented at least by Indian Bank. Across the globe also, the expectation is that the banks must implement. Uh, Let me bring the benefit of having it. So, see, when a global crisis comes, it hits because today, lot of interface of this globalization technology has linked lot of banks and businesses across the world. So, any single event happening any location at a remote corner of the world also has a global impact and an effect. So having these norms allows banks to like save itself from the risk that may come. So it saves from the risk. It creates a very good risk response mechanism, and it also allows banks to create policies that they need to create to respond to those risks. Now, this Basel, I'm directly taking to the words that you've read in your accounting and auditing. So you've read the concept of tier 1 capital, tier 2 capital. Now we have tier 3. Then this subordinate debt you have talked about. You have read about risk weighted assets you have read about. I'm talking about CRR, SLR, asset liability management. So all these concepts, how it's an evolving process. All these concepts are discussed by these central bankers. A consensus is created and a policy document, a Basel norm is issued. So Basel is this. Okay. Yes, Harshit. So let me read what Harshit has posted for all of us. Basel III is an internationally agreed set of measures developed by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision in response to the financial crisis of 2007 and 09. Great. Yes. So the bankers start responding to that. So then banks have to create policy framework, and based on the policy framework, they come to the country and implement. Like we have this. So in India, the words that you have read. So these all words are generated, have been born from this Basel discussion. So let me just repeat those. Tier 1, Tier 2, now we have Tier 3 capital, the concept of subordinated debt, risk asset, risk weighted assets, the percentage of risk weighted assets, how provisioning has to be done, the classification of advances, then SLR, CRR, and asset liability management as a concept. So lot of discussion is done, and then countries are expected to adopt these norms and implement. Now, what happens when you adopt and implement? So once you adopt and implement, it gives strength to the banking sector to be able to face these challenges. So banks get the option of facing these challenges. So once you uh, start facing the challenges, it saves the economy like that. So these norms, and India was a very early adopter of these norms. So lot of banking collapses across the world did not impact us that much. We are not saying we are not impacted. Any global event today is going to impact you. Please understand that no, if we are part of a global economy, then any event like today, Russia-Ukraine war, sometime back, that financial 2008 meltdown in US, then 1997, 98, I don't know whether you know it, there was a real estate crisis in Malaysia, Indonesia. So because today, being part of the global economy, anything that happens across a remote corner of the globe financially is going to impact you. So this Basel gives you strength to absorb that. That is what the Basel norm does. Then we'll be adding more. Huh? I'll be writing for you to note. So Basel III is a comprehensive set of reform measures developed by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision to strengthen the regulation, supervision, and risk management of banks. Just phenomenal three words: regulation, supervision, and risk management. These measures aim to improve the banking sector's ability to absorb shocks arising from financial and economic crisis, economic stress, whatever the source, and to improve the risk management and governance within the bank itself. One of the dimensions of Basel III is determining capital adequacy based on risk management. So I've talked about these words. So this is what has been built. This you need to remember. Basel has three basic pillars: market discipline, supervisory review process, and minimum capital requirement. In fact, if you read, just go on Google and search that Government of India is a major stakeholder in all public sector bank. So over a period of time, lot of this NP accounts are being pulled out from the balance sheet of the public sector bank so that their balance sheet becomes clean. But then when you pull out something, the capital adequacy takes a hit. So then government invests or recapitalizes the bank. So if you search on Google that the amount of recapitalization value that Government of India has put in public sector bank in last 15 years, you'll get a very big figure. Just if you can do and put it in the chat, the amount of recapitalization done by Government of India in last 15 years. So the figure is going to, I'm just trying to guess it out, the figure, it will be like 1 lakh crore. So that is this, because why government is doing it? Because government realizes that we need to ensure strength of the bank. So when you ensure strength of the bank, it reflects on the economy of the country. And the core aspect is this: to ensure strength of the bank must not collapse because it is going to affect the economy of the country. And then to ensure that we are in line with the Basel requirement. Just again, another search that you can do is just do it on in Google. Uh, Countries where central bank have failed in last 10 years. उन के नाम जहां के सेंट्रल बैंक पिछले 10 साल में फेल हो गए. Get a long list. So if my central bank fails, Reserve Bank of India fails, it's going to be a disaster like that. So government gives that strength to all this based on the requirement of the Basel norms. Then this requires, now this is very important, and this last line has to be linked to our core banking system, and then we'll take this further. All this requires lot and lot of data analysis and projections to be done. This cannot be simulated through normal mathematical models, but require use of AI, artificial intelligence tools. So lot of tools, lot of mechanisms are being built in to see. So Varsha has put a figure that is 3 lakh crores. Okay, good. So we'll take, means, okay, it's a big figure. Ankit has said 20,000 crores, but we understand that it's a big value. Okay. Now coming to this last line, that is, this we need to link to our core banking system. So see, because compliances have to be done, compliances are critical like that. So how, like capital adequacy ratio, say for example, it has to be 12%. Now bank need to have a system there it can make an assessment that this is its capital adequacy ratio. Then I think you must have read asset liability management in your bank audit. So asset liability management is what? Asset liability management is forecasting the maturity pattern of assets and linking it to the maturity pattern of liabilities. Okay, 2% have said 3 lakh crores, so we'll accept that. It's a big amount. So that is how, see, all this analysis is being done. Now, this one. So what I'm doing, I'm taking this and linking all this process to AI tools. Allow me to share a Word document. And on that, we are going to learn. Let me see what is the next slide. Yes. So now, something that I want you to note. I thought this had to be a good discussion. Huh? It is core of all things. Just allow me a second. Allow me to bring my Word document. Now, so the word that we are learning is, I'm just putting a simple query. Okay, so we agree to the amount of refunding that or recapitalization that has been done. Now, what exactly is ALM? So I'm keeping as simple. Please say in the chat whether you've read asset liability management. Chat में लिखो ना कि ALM पढ़ा कि नहीं पढ़ा, then I'll tell you the impact it has. So keeping it simple. Then I'll put a question and then seek an answer. This is the simplest definition. Matching the maturity pattern of assets to maturity pattern of liabilities. Okay. Now I'll be asking a question. So again, it might be like that, our rapid fire. Okay. So then first you have to see fixed deposit for a bank. It is a liability or an asset. You have to say whether fixed deposit is a liability or an asset. Okay. So let us do it fast. Suppose a person makes a depositor comes. Oh, not read. Oh, then learn. It's a good thing to learn. Because see, what I basically want, how core banking system is going to build into this. So we need to learn this process. Okay. So fixed deposit for a bank is what? It's a liability. Good. So that does my job. So suppose I am depositor. I go to the bank, deposit 10 lakh rupees as fixed deposit. The fixed deposit is for a period of 5 years. So bank has funds 10 lakh rupees. Okay. Now what bank will do when it has funds? It gives what? So the next question, banks gives advances. So advance is a liability or an asset? We all know. So what the bank does, it gives a house loan. Advance is an asset. Good. Now I want you to tell the problem. जो लिखा है स्क्रीन पे कुछ प्रॉब्लम दिखती है क्या? डू यू सी अ प्रॉब्लम? लेट मी मेक देम बोल्ड. So bank had an FD of 10 lakh rupees for 5 years. Bank gave an advance for 9 lakh rupees house loan for 15 years. Do you see a problem? What is the problem? I want you to write. I'll wait for you to write the problem in the chat. Yeah, advance is an asset. Yes. I'm waiting. In fact, because I want an answer, so you can say no problem, huh? So that at least I know you have given an answer. Because if you don't answer, I will not know anything. So if you see a problem, write the problem. If you see no problem, say no problem. Yes, so I'll read exactly the way problem had to be defined. So Darshan, Shivranjani, Gundu Chandrasekhara, Sunil Kumar, all have given correct answer. I am reading one of them. After 5 years, FD has to be repaid. I'll go to the bank and ask for my FD 10 lakh rupees. But will bank have the cash? It is not available. This idea that this is what is ALM. So what bank has to do? Create a chart. So chart is like, I don't know whether you've seen it, but when you go for audit, bank audit, during your articleship, so chart is maturity pattern of assets and liabilities. So there is a column. So first column is 1 to 14 days, then 15 to 30 days, that is 1 month, then 1 month to 3 months, then 3 months to 6 months, 6 months to 12 months, that becomes year, then 1 year to 3 year, then 3 year to 5 year, 5 years to 10 years and 10 years and more. That the charting is done. And then an analysis is done. That what will be. So all this data is going to be generated from where? My core banking system. And then I must be able to forecast the future, that how I am going to act upon this, how the future is going to flow. So then you have to build an AI tool on that. That is, so this is only one example, and I've kept this the simplest possible example that we could have shared. So that is how all these reporting systems have to be generated. Okay. So it is linked to the AI tools. Now, few additions. See, please understand. I want you to note this. Okay. So this is like Basel norms. I've given you a live example. Then suppose the question comes, then I want you to write this also. So please have here additional points to write in exam. If the question comes, the reporting and MIS system in bank. So let us run through the module first, and then we'll come back to this chart. Okay. So it talks about Basel norms. Then it's a very, very, very short paragraph is there. So we need to add a lot to this. So whenever it comes, suppose this question comes in exam, you talk about the Basel, we have talked about the slide, then add this also. So let us see. So bank system generates lot of reports. Okay. This one that I want you to specifically write about is the end of the day report. So EOD, end of the day report. This report is the like a summary of all the transaction. And this end of day, a very important report is generated that is called as exception report from banking system. So exception report means those transactions which did not fall in the basic framework. Basic framework means, like we talked about this 10 crore is my sanction limit and I've exceeded the sanction limit by 25 lakh. This is reported in exception report. So those transactions which are allowed by the system but not normal, then so end of then they have got something called as, I'll only give those which you are read through. They are very, very important. NPA movement reports, any movement in NPA transaction, and this we have already talked about. Then bank system may have different way connotations for reporting, but dormant account transaction report, please understand, all these have direct link to the control parameters of the bank. All these have direct link to the fraud error reporting in the banking system. Okay. Kindly carry the full form. See, the core banking system has evolved to phenomenal level. So end of day reports, NPA movement reports, dormant account transaction report, cash transaction report, suspicious transaction report. Account closed during the month or a period of time, account closure reports. So kindly do add this also as a part of discussion. Now, anything that you want me to explain, we'll take a break because this topic is complete. Good. Varsha, it's a good question. It's more from your accounting and auditing, but because I can answer, so let me do it. Now, Varsha, the first, so Varsha's question is, what is the difference between NPA and dormant account? Okay, so let us do it here itself. So NPA is basically an advance account. Basically. Dormant is generally a operational account. It can be saving bank account. It can be a current account like that. It can be a FD also. Dormant. So if you look to the basics, so NPA is basically the asset side of the balance sheet. Dormant is on the liability side. First. Second, non-performing advance. Again, this definition comes from the Basel norms. Non-performing means where bank has given advance, and on that advance, whatever interest, whatever commission, whatever dues are there, which bank has to collect, including the principal repayment amount, the same has not been paid for a specified period of time. The general standard is 90 days. There are some differences, subtle differences, but so if I have given an advance and my account becomes, I am not paid, I am a banker, I have given an advance, and on that advance, I have not been able to receive the monthly interest, and that monthly interest that I have not received is due for more than 90 days, then that account is classified as a non-performing. Now, because the discussion is technical, let us close the parameters. When I say an account is non-performing, so as a banker, I have to do three things. First, I will not book any income because non-performing, the income is not coming first. Second, the unrealized income, the interest that I have talked about, I have to reverse the unrealized interest. And based on the classification, you have read substandard, dormant, D1, D2, D3, loss asset, I have to make a provision. That is advances. Dormant account. Now, dormant account, generally, the basic definition is that any saving bank current account, FDs like unclaimed FDs, okay. So saving bank and current account, where no transaction has been done, say in last 12 months. then you classify that account as a dormant account. So dormant account means inoperative. No operation has been done in last 12 months. Now see, over a period of time, Reserve Bank of India, the enforcement agencies found that these dormant accounts are used to create banking frauds. So what has been done today, the core banking systems of all banks have been reconfigured. Once an account is classified as dormant, then you cannot deposit a money into that, nor you can withdraw. Then when you can deposit and withdraw, after doing what is called as re-KYC, the know your customer, the details, your Aadhaar, PAN and other details you have to resubmit to the bank, then bank revives the account. It unmarks it as live account and then you can only do the transaction. So that is how dormant and NPA are there. Okay. So that is there. It's a break time. We'll take our 10 minutes break. So we are taking a break. No, banks have no right, Darshan. No, bank have no right of closure. In fact, this uh, recently it's a development in last I think 15 days only. Government of India has asked bankers to display list of all dormant accounts because I don't know the exact amount, but some 10,000 crore rupees is lying with banks unclaimed. 10,000 crores. Okay, subject to updates and correction. So bank cannot close that account. So we are taking a break. We'll reassemble at 7:21. Break time. Come back after this good tea break. Sorry. So that was MIS reporting. Now, applicable regulatory and compliance requirements. So, I understand that you have noted the reports, extra reports I have shared, because the core purpose of sharing those reports was those reports will be directly linked to this topic. So, we'll be linking that. It is going to come. So, the impact of technology on the bank, money laundering, cybercrime, and the applicable banking acts. Now, see, this is how we can visualize the impact of technology on the bank itself. So, the impact is on the policies, procedures, regulatory structure, the organizational structure, business process, and technology. And then you need to have controls too. So, technology is impacting all aspects. And to ensure that the aspect is taken care of, you create controls. We have taken a lot of examples when we started this chapter. I told you this when we talked about the services bank can provide. So in the module, there was a word retail loans. So then I told you that banks have created a separate, every public sector, private sector bank has a division that they call as a retail asset loan account. So retail asset is generally personal loans, consumer loans that include home loan, education loan, vehicle loan, other personal loans. So bank, it's an evolving process and a lot of technology has been brought. We are doing net banking. We are not going physically to our bank branches. So all these inputs of technology is having a huge impact on the way bank operations are being done today. Let me bring the module. So that is the flow chart. So technology is impacting every aspect of bank system. Now, coming to the word money laundering. Here we are going to link it to the reports that I have talked to you. Now, first we need to understand what exactly is money laundering. So I'm reading it through. So money laundering is a process by which proceeds of a crime and the true ownership of those proceeds are concealed or made opaque so that proceeds appear to come from legitimate source. The objective of money laundering is to conceal the existence, illegal source, or illegal application of income to make it appear legitimate. It is commonly used by criminals to make dirty money appear as clean, or profits of criminal activities are made to appear legitimate. So, money laundering is whatever earning is there from crimes, that earning is plowed back into the economy as a legitimate money. So this process of generating income and plowing it back, bringing it back to a like documented economy, that process is called as money laundering. So there are stages. So they are important. And again, this part of the discussion, lot of questions are asked in examination. So keep yourself aware on the discussion as it is going to flow through. So first stage is placement. So keep a tag of the word placement. The first stage involves placement of proceeds derived from illegal activities, the movement of proceeds, frequently currency, from scene of crime to a place or into a form less suspicious and more convenient for criminals. In this stage, illegal funds or assets are first brought into financial system. So if you can look to the, suppose a robbery has been done and robbers have taken, say, 10 crore, 100 crore, as the case may be. So this robbery amount is put into the bank. So illegal amount is being placed into a not so hidden source, hidden location. Robbery is one example. It can be drug money, it can be terror financing, it can come from any source. So that illegal money, that dirty money, is brought into the host system where it appears less suspicious. Other could be like this. Uh, you are generating income that you are not showing to the authorities. That undeclared income is brought into, you deposit into different bank accounts. That becomes part of the placements. Then layering. Layering involves the separation of proceeds from illegal source using complex transactions designed to obscure means hide the audit trail and hide the proceeds. So once you have layered, once you have brought the money into a less suspicious location, then you do multiple transactions, rolling over transactions to, so use like an example has been given that for once layered, then amount is transferred to into the bank account of company X. Then it transfers to an offshore bank outside the country of origin of the laundered money. Then this offshore bank gives loan to a company Y, and this loan to company Y makes the payment back to X. So the laundered money has been, this layering means trying to ensure that the funds now appear as a legal fund. Okay. So you obscure, you hide the original source of the funding. The criminals frequently use shell corporations, offshore bank, or countries with loose regulations and secrecy law for this purpose. Layering involves sending money through various financial transactions to change its form and make it difficult to follow. Layering may consist of several bank-to-bank transactions. Wire transfer is online transfers between different accounts in different names in different countries, making deposit and withdrawals to continually vary the amount of money in accounts, changing the currency of the money, purchasing high-value items like boats, houses, cars, diamond, changing the form of the money. This step is quite complex as it involves making dirty money as hard to trace as possible. So layering is one of the most complex or critical aspect of the money laundering process. Here you do any amount of work to ensure that the original source, the dirty money source, is saved, hidden, and now it appears as a proper money. And last is integration. Integration involves conversion of illegal proceeds into apparently legitimate business earning through normal financial or commercial operation. Integration creates an illusion of a legitimate source for criminally derived funds and involves techniques as numerous and creative as those by legitimate business. For example, false invoices for goods exported, domestic loan against foreign deposit, purchasing of property, and commingling of money in bank accounts. So once you have layered, then you integrate it through buying luxury products or integrate it into the normal economy. So placement, layering, and integration. Now, so to this, so kindly do remember the key steps of money laundering, placement, layering, and integration. Then anti-money laundering using technology. Now, negative publicity, damage to reputation, loss of goodwill, legal, regulatory sanction, and adverse effect on the bottom line are all possible consequences of banks' failure to manage risk of money laundering. In fact, it's just I missed the name of the bank. It's again this a report in last 1 month only that one of the European bank has been strictly censured by authorities for not, I missed that transaction, but it was basically held that the bank system did not identify that amount as a laundered money. So it becomes a public reputation loss for the bank itself. So banks face the challenge of addressing the threat of money laundering on multiple fronts, as banks can be used as a primary means to transfer money across geographies. The challenge is even greater for banks using core banking system, as all transactions are integrated. This is the most critical aspect. See, any transfer that you are doing, any amount that bank receives, how banks identifies the genuineness of the transaction, how it identifies that this amount that it has received is not laundered money. That requires lot of use of technology and lot of use of AI. And now this I want to link to a report that I told you to keep a note of. In the previous discussion, MIS report, we talked about something called as CTR, STR, cash transaction report, and suspicious transaction report. So these reports are already part of the core banking system of the bank. So if any such amount, any such receipt, any such payment is tagged in the system as suspicious, it is directly generated as a report, and automatically now the systems have been so integrated that these reports will be automatically updated on the database of the enforcing authorities. That is why those reports we talked about are very, very important. Just keep a tag of it. Just linking this discussion to the other reports we talk about. So cash transaction report is also automatically sent to income tax department. Then suspicious transaction reports are linked to the enforcing authorities. Then see, over a period of time, bankers realize the modus operandi of banking frauds. So they found that many banking frauds have been done using dormant accounts. So wherever a dormant account is hid, so that report directly doesn't go to the authorities, but it is created as an exception that a transaction has been done in a dormant account, so that the investigation wing of the bank itself makes an analysis whether this account, this reflects any like a criminal activity or a laundered money, so that that transaction can be taken forward. So just keep a tag of it. Huh? All those reports have a link to this part of the discussion. Commingling, making together, merging them. Commingling is like you merge it so that you cannot differentiate. ऐसे उसको मिक्स कर देना कि फिर उसको अलग करना संभव नहीं है. दैट्स 5.5.2 Brinda. Oh, 5. Yeah. Brinda, I think you wanted this one. 5.5.2. This. Okay. So I'll do it again. Okay. So unexplained income tax rate, not my cup of tea as of now. So I'm not answering that question. Then let me answer Varsha's question. Brinda, I'll come to this. Bank asks PAN card. Yeah, yeah. So Varsha, please understand. So suppose I go to the bank to deposit 50,000 and above cash. I have to write PAN number on the paying slip. But suppose I deposit 1 lakh through a bank deposit machine. Bank is going to send notice to me that this amount 1 lakh has been deposited as cash. Please explain the source of it. So it is not that anyone coming from like someone comes from moon and deposits 1 lakh rupee. Someone has deposited 1 lakh rupee in your account. That means there has to be reason. And if you say that it has been inadvertently deposited in bank account, then bank will send it to a suspense account, withdraw from your account so that you don't have access to that amount. Okay, now, so 5.6.2. So 3 stages of money laundering. Placement. So the whatever dirty money is generated. So you can keep a step before placement, you keep a step like generation. So so we have another step. Let us add a step so that we know. So no confusion comes. So I'm typing a step generation. So dirty money is generated. So this generation can be numerous sources, illegal activities, drug money, terror financing, all can be generated, unexplained or undeclared incomes like that. So they are generated. So generation is done. Now, once you've generated that, what you have to uh, worry about that how this will be laundered. So what you do once you generate, then it may be in any form. You create a form which is less suspicious. So like you deposit it in a bank account. So this placing the dirty money, the first stage, you place at a location so that the level of suspicion goes down. That is called as placement. That is called as placement. Then once you've placed it in a less suspicious location, you go to the next stage, that is called as layering. So layering is what? You do multiple transactions, sending that money out of India and getting it through multiple people uh, back to you. That is layering. So layering basically is the most complex part of this process, where the original source of the dirty money is hidden. So it becomes an untraceable source at that location. And once layered, you integrate it into normal economies. Once layered, now it is a genuine money. Then you, whatever you like, if we can talk in terms of this loan to Y company. So it's a dirty money. The Y company invests in shares. The Y company buys property. So, and that is visible. Everyone is looking at it. So this part is integration. Integration is merging that money into the normal financial resources like that. Now, just we did talk about this. There was a query on cryptocurrency. It was part of your chapter 4 also. So I told that cryptocurrency is the key problem. Now, let us link cryptocurrency with money laundering. See, because cryptocurrency has that one of the features of cryptocurrency is it is non-traceable. Okay. Because it is non-traceable, all means the big players or money launderers use cryptocurrency to launder money. In fact, it's within last 3 months, a huge darknet of drug trafficking was captured. So this darknet is a very different type of internet. So this was captured, and as it was captured, the authorities realized that these criminals dealing in drugs are transferring and receiving money using cryptocurrency. The key feature of cryptocurrency is non-traceable. That is why many countries, including our country, has had a very specific restriction that you cannot deal in that, because it is non-traceable. It becomes one of the most used way of receiving payment by criminals across the world. That is the issue. And then you link it, and it is technology driven, 100% technology, not a single like it doesn't generate a paper based currency. So that is why, and see this trouble with cryptocurrency all across the world, developed countries, developing and least developed countries, all are facing the issue. So lot of discussion, the central bankers of all countries of the world are discussing that how to regulate cryptocurrency, because some type of regulation will be needed. If you don't regulate that way, it will become like a safe haven for criminals. It will be a big issue. So that is, now you link cryptocurrency also to this anti-money laundering. Then the other aspect is financing of terrorism. We have talked about. Let us just run through this fast. Money to fund terrorist activities moves through global financial system via wire transfers in out of personal business accounts. I'll request you to write cryptocurrency also. If this comes, add the word cryptocurrency. Okay. So that is also used for funding terrorism. The money can lie in accounts of illegitimate charities and laundered through buying, selling securities, other commodities. Although terrorist financing is form of money laundering, it doesn't work the conventional money laundered. The money frequently start out as clean, charitable donation, and then used for terrorist activities. That is why you have this FAFT, FAFD, yeah, that keeps a track of there's signatory countries which have to comply so that your banking system is so robust that it can keep a track of this terror financing across the globe. So, Avdesh, what you have said is true, but we cannot discuss here. So let us go to our slide. So we talked about from the module. Then cyber crimes. Now, so the word has come. Cyber crime, also known as computer crime, is crime that involves use of technology, computer network. The computer may be used in committing crimes, or it may be the target. So your system can be target, your system can be crime committer. And the way technology is working today, your system may commit a crime that you may not know about. Big issue. Cybercrime is defined as offenses that are committed against individuals or group of individuals with a criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation of the victim or cause physical or mental harm or loss to the victim directly and indirectly using modern telecommunication networks, internet, chat room, and then you can do it anyway. Okay. So cybercrime. So just before we go ahead, we have talked about that credit card, debit card payment on internet. When you make an online payment, always see that in the address bar of your browser, you have the name, the location you are accessing, and the start of the address bar, there is a small lock, generally green colored lock. So that lock is a closed lock that indicates that the site that you are accessing is a secured site. Before you make a payment, just scroll down and see on the payment gateway page, they give a certification that this site is certified by these organizations for payment. So just see the certifications, what it has before you make a payment online. And please save yourself from but because this mistake many of us make, that is called as click jacking. Click jacking is someone sends you a link and then you click on the link and then you lose money. Never do it. Please do not click on a link that has been received from a source that is not known to you. I'll tell my very personal experience. This event happened more than 20 years back. So I just started fresh in practice life. So I got this email. Once I was hit by a virus due to my mistake. Okay. That is only once. So 20 years back, I got that email. The email read like this, that the subject was a very good financial plan for you. I am a chartered accountant. I get an email and the subject is a very good financial plan for you. And it had an attachment. The attachment was, it started with the word tax, then a suffix .exe, tax suffix .exe. I clicked on that and I was hit by a virus. So, so this idea that you are getting something free, please delete that. Nothing is free. Anyone sends you a link, then this lottery winning, and you get emails. And I've been getting this. I'm so surprised by the audacity of the fraudster. You know, it has not come right now, but before COVID, 5 years back, I got this emails. The person said that you have won $1 million, and then that $1 million we lottery you have won. What I have done to win $1 million? So please save yourself. These are all fraud schemes. Never click on those links which are not known to you. So save yourself. Okay. Darshan, yeah, you can say at a level they will be similar. Okay. So I will read what additional module wants to talk about on cyber crime. So committing of fraud by manipulation of input, output, throughput. Yeah. In fact, this has become so big. Awareness is only going to save you. Okay. And see, I've told you read Financial Daily since last 20 years. I've been reading Times of India as a regular news reader daily without fail. Every day I find some cyber crime being reported: debit card fraud, credit card fraud, bank account fraud, people losing money. And this, because you're young, so I'm just sharing this. Please keep a tag of it. This, we have elders in our house. Okay. So your parents, your grandparents. See, I've been reading this, that what is happening, that this, see, mobile is being made available to all people in our home, our house. That is available with our elders. So you have this iOS, Apple iPhones. You may have Android based systems, Android phones. That okay. So now, see, phone is good, but lot of risk has come with this mobile phone, because virtually your all banking is there. Your OTPs for the bank you receive on mobile. So I've been reading this news that few elders have been losing money because someone has been able to fraud them, sending some link and then making a call and then terrorizing people. So just keep yourself aware. We must have the awareness not to be hit by cyber criminals. So Himanshu, I was hit by it. No, no, Darshan. Darshan has put a good question. There is a very simple answer. How can we know whether unknown emails we are receiving are authentic? There is a simple rule that I have been following. If I receive an email from an unknown source, whatever it is, I treat it as a spam mail, delete. मुझे अननोन सोर्स से ईमेल मिलता है, मैं खोलता भी नहीं हूं, सीधे डिलीट कर देता हूं, ब्लॉक कर देता हूं, खत्म. जरूरत ही क्या है खोलने की. So see what happens, this there's a lot of incentive that builds in our brain and heart to read mail. Someone sends a mail, please delete. No one in the world has time to send any unsolicited emails. Delete them. Why worry to read them? Nothing wrong is going to happen to you. Believe me, take the way I am taking. If you receive an unknown email, don't worry whether the source is genuine or non-genuine. The conclusion is it is non-genuine. Delete, mark as spam. Life will save you one day. बस इतना ही करना है. बिल्कुल, लेट मी डू इट इन मोर हिंदी. बिल्कुल माथा या दिमाग नहीं लगाना है, मानना है वो गलत है. डिलीट. हैव आई पुट इट करेक्टली? Take this word from me. One day you are going to save because of this. Yeah, Himanshu, I was it. EXE was a very, means that fraudster was also not intelligent. I was foolish, so I was it. Okay. So I have answered your question, Darshana. कोई अपने को लगता है देख लू, अरे कुछ नहीं होगा जीवन में, ना देखेगा तो जीवन खराब नहीं होगा, ऐसे रोज. And start blocking those email IDs. Treat them as spam. Darshan, it is never going to be authentic. Take my word. You will not lose anything. Believe me. नहीं होगा दर्शन. अरे ओ दर्शन, एम्प्लॉयमेंट I'm telling you, if the source is not known, it is fraud. Take my word. Why worry? You'll not lose. That is my guarantee. You are going to save something. That is also my guarantee. You got the point? So this anxiety that is there, अरे नहीं पढ़ूंगा तो कुछ चला जाएगा. That is what fraudsters use. This anxiousness, this desire, or this, called this, FOMO is a word that is used. Feeling of missed out. I may miss out, sir. Delete. Nothing will happen to you in the world. Take my word. There's a lot of things I'm keeping myself very strict. I cannot share online, but nothing has happened to me because of this only. Then Banking Regulation Act. So we'll be reading all from the module itself. Negotiable Instrument Act, Reserve Bank of India, PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering, very important. Okay. So Banking Regulation Act 1949 is a legislation that regulates the banking operation. Then this act gives power to Reserve Bank of India to license banks, have a regulation over the voting rights and everything. So I'm not reading that. You can read through that. The next is NI, Negotiable Instrument Act. The very important aspect that we must understand is the first paragraph. Under the Negotiable Instrument Act, checks includes an electronic image of the check that is also called as a truncated. So electronic image of truncated check and a check in electronic form. The truncation of check, that is digitalization of a physical paper check into substitute electronic form for submission to paying bank in clearing has been given effect, and appropriate safeguards in this regards have been set forth in guidelines issued by the Reserve Bank of India from time to time. A check in electronic form has been defined as a mirror image of paper check. The expression mirror image is not appropriate. It perhaps may not be intention. The idea is that you need not require a physical check like that. So just keep these two definitions. The idea is that now see, the usage of check as a mode of payment has been substantially reduced. NEFT, RTGS, IMPS, and online payment mechanisms, but still check is used. So to facilitate fast transfer, 5 years, 10 years back, when the volume was large, so checks were cleared in T plus 2 days. So I deposit the check today, I get funds day after, third day of deposition. But then the economy is developing, things are going very fast. So authorities, including Reserve Bank and the banks, realize that we need to improve this. So they came up with this idea of not having physical clearing of check, having image or truncated checks being cleared. So in fact, the status today is that you deposit a check today. If the banks have scanners, so they don't send the physical checks to clearinghouse, images are sent. And in what I know best, T plus 0 means you deposit a check today, evening you get a credit. So it is a phenomenal change the way we are working. Okay, you have darshan. Very good. Great. So that saves time. Then RBI regulations. So RBI is the monetary authority, regulator and supervisor of the financial system. This CRR, SLR, all guidance, the basic guidelines for any new type of loan or any loan that a bank is, they are issued by RBI. So our banks have to adopt those guidelines and create their policy framework based on that. Then it issues the issuer of currency also. So that is Reserve Bank of India. Then Prevention of Money Laundering Act, that is important. Keep a tag of it, keep tag of the sections. So please do carry the sections as they are given. And whatever is given is very important. Section 3, Offense of Money Laundering. whosoever directly, indirectly attempts to indulge or knowingly assist or is party or is actually involved in process activity connected with the proceeds of crime, including the concealment, possession, acquisition, use, or projecting or claiming it as intended property, shall be held guilty of money laundering. So it covers all aspects. Just wanted to see if there is an update I have marked. Then section 12. Every reporting entity shall maintain. Now this is important. So if you are identified as a reporting entity, then you have to maintain record for a specified period of time. Section 12 is important. Keep a tag of this section. So I'm not reading through, it's a direct reading, so you can do it. Then power of directors. The director may either on his own motion or application made by an authority, officer, person, make inquiry. So within the PMLA, there's an authority, a person identified who can initiate a inquiry. So keep a tag of this. These are important direct sections, so I'm not going through them. Most important is that this definition includes a chartered accountant also. So let me read that very specific section. If at any stage of inquiry or any other proceeding before him, the director, having regard to the nature and complexity of the case, is of the opinion that it is necessary to do so, he may direct the concerned reporting entity to get its record, as may be specified, audited by an accountant. So here accountant is a chartered accountant. So director can ask a chartered accountant to do a special audit to identify money laundering. Then miscellaneous provisions, false information being given. So just run through that. Offenses by the company. Okay. Yeah, so that completes the PMLA. Himanshu has given a good update. Bank doesn't ask you. Then yeah, they will apply. Shivam, they will apply. Yes. Sure. No confusions. Then Information Technology Act. So Information Technology Act 2000 as amended by 2008. Then SBTI, now we have DPDP. So that law is there, and privacy policy. We have talked about RBI, PMLA, the three sections, and definition. So there is one change that there were definitions. They have been moved to chapter 1. Now we'll read from the module. This section I had shared you earlier also. 43 capital A. So sections have been defined in chapter 1. Section 43, penalty and compensation for damage to computer system. Compensation for failure to protect data. Tampering with computer source document. You need to remember, so you need to create a table, section, the description of the section, and what is the penal provision within the section. Then section 66, computer related offenses. 66B, punishment for dishonestly receiving stolen computer resource. 66C, identity theft. 66D, punishment for cheating for personification by using computer resource. 66E, punishment for violation of privacy, that is taking images without permission of the person. Then sensitive personal data information. This section 43A, we have already talked about. Let us bring the case again, that if I'm an organization and I have any secured data of my customer, that data security is my responsibility. That is section 43A. And now I've already told you, keep a tag of DPDP Act. Just within next previous 15 days passed by the parliament and now given assent by the president also. Then banks need to create what is referred to as privacy policy. Now it has become more important post this DPDP Act. Every bank captures personal information, so they need to have and use appropriate standards. There was a discussion on ISO 27001 day before yesterday. So ISO is Information Security Management System Standard, commonly known as ISMS standards. So you need to create a policy framework based on this international standards so that compliance is good. So that is, we are completing 30 minutes before because we want to do MCQs. So I've got two set of MCQs. Let us take the first one. Just give me a second. There has to be a way of doing it. I'll do it. So kindly go through it, say yes in the chat, and then we'll go to the questions. So kindly say yes when you have read it. Need one more yes. We have got darshans. One more. Yeah. So let us go ahead. So the case is on the left side and the question is on the right side. So first answer is there. Let us see. Good. Placement. Very good. Keep a tag of your scores also. Huh? We'll be asking. I'll be asking your score also. That was tricky, huh? The keyword was buying a big property and giving it on rent. So that is, you learn, we discuss. Yes, Kriti Kriti gave correct. Shivam and Brinda, good. Great. Now you realize why I discuss all the reports, because I wanted this question to be answered. Yes. See, cash transaction report. Very good, Imanshu. Dinesh, Shivranjani, good. No, it's that was section 12. We had to read it. So I'm bringing the answer, or you can, based on your knowledge, you can say. In fact, that was the point I was referring in the module itself. So yeah, so please keep in note. See, this was the point I was reading. So the answer is D. So it is 10 years. In the module, I think it is 5 years. So just keep a tag of it. Huh? This has been updated. 5 years, yes. So those of you say 5 years is correct, but as per module, but as per law, it is 10 years. So I'll request you to update the module. That was the point I was looking when I was referring to module. So 10 years, D is the answer. It has been updated. That was the reason for the question also. So please keep a tag. D is the answer. The law has been updated, but now this is the last attempt. So just remember 10 years is the update. So I want your scores. I think this part has 5 questions. Yeah. So please put your score. Then by the time you put, I'll bring the, now we have the case study for the whole syllabus. So this case study relates to all 5 chapters. Just give me a second. By the time you put your score. Yes, yes, Darshan, absolutely applicable. It's a reasonably old amendment. Yeah. Okay, so Darshan 3 out of 5, Brinda 3 out of 5, Varsha is 3, Shivam is 2. Okay, good. Let us continue. So this is now many questions and the whole syllabus. So please find time to read. Read slowly. We are in no hurry. Okay. Raju Kumar Singh gets 3. Komal gets 3. Kavin Prashant G 4. That is good. Sahu SK is 3. Don't worry. So I think question five, yeah. So Kriti says question five was wrong, but we otherwise she got two for four. Shiv Ranjani gets three, and Ankit Kumar is two. Yeah, OEM. OEM is original equipment manufacturer. OEM is original equipment manufacturer. So like Maruti has a big factory in Manesar, Haryana. So a lot of those ancillaries that supply a lot of parts to Maruti are within the same like area. So those becomes OEM, original equipment manufacturers. Done. Okay, Brinda says done. I want one more yes, then we'll go ahead. Done. Okay. So the case is kept at the left side and the questions are on the right side. Now you have to imagine means the question, but the all five chapters are relevant. Huh? So you have to select A, B, C, D. The chapter number I'll tell you. Don't worry on that. Your answer has to be question one A, B, C, D like that. Great. Four answers I got all are correct. Good. Let us see. Pack up. Good. So again, 80% are correct. Very good. Yes. Good. So now there's a trick in this. Vasha has said C, network control. The type of control, so the character of it. So the right answer, Varsha, is B. Okay. So that was basically to create this discussion. So preventive is more specific in nature and the type of it. Good. Five D. So I created this case law. So you've seen that question one is from chapter one, question two, chapter two, question three, chapter three, question four, chapter four, and question five, chapter five. So we'll repeat the cycle. This is a thinking question. Six. Order to cash. So if you could read, let me read because this question required a lot of things. I am reading. Huh? So it's the center takes care of activities like orders, delivery, complaints, and stock operations. Few of operations of the company are in manual mode, including inventory, customer order tracking. This way of operation led to a huge gap in flow of information, pending orders, delayed deliveries, delayed decision making due to lack of business reports, and therefore overall non-performance. Now, let us read the question. The business operations that added most value post automation, sorry, the most value post automation for the company would be. So if you look to the problem, the core area of the problem is customer order to cash. Customer is giving order and you are supplying the order. So this was a thinking question. Good. Okay. So back. Yeah, yeah, no. The correct answer is backup. Okay. C is the correct answer, not segregation of duties. C, backup. Okay. So backup is the correct answer. C. Segregation of duty is preventive. Now, so if backup is not preventive, so I'm adding a question. C is the correct answer, backup. Okay. So what backup is? If it is not preventive, then what nature of control backup is? Is correct answer. You have to answer. If it is not preventive, then what nature of control backup is? So for this question, you will take one more mark. Okay. So this becomes the 8 is C, backup. And this we say ninth question, the nature of control backup is. So we have got two answers. I want more. Then I'll give the right answer. Yes, good. So we have got most you have answered correctly. The right answer to the question is backup is. So take one more mark for this. Backup is corrected. Okay. So that. Uh, and this is our 10th question. Take time, no hurry. So I have BYOD, that is the least costly. So yes, many of you have said correctly. Yes. So now your score. So how much you got out of 10? Now, so this case covered all your 5 chapters, and we had at least 2 questions from all the 5 chapters, except we had 10 questions. Yes. So 2 from each chapter. So please say how much you scored in this. Ah, claps for Himanshu 10. So Himanshu is 10. Diksha is 7. Shivam is 7. Varsha is 5. Brinda is 9. Good. Then Rajiv Kumar Singh is 7. Ah, Ankit says, sir, I got 10. Claps. Shivranjani is 7. Sunil Kumar is 7. Darshan is 9. Great. So claps for all of you. So I've saved 2-3 minutes for something to talk about how to study. Okay. So any questions you have? Good, Darshan. Then Komal got 5. Sahu SK has got 5. Okay, don't worry. Now see, so just last 2-3 minutes on the subject and how you need to study. So as we said on day one, to me this is absolutely practical, not nothing as theory per se in the subject. But the point is that we need to link it to practical cases. So a lot of practical cases we have done. Yes, yes, exactly, Brinda. Coming to your query only. So link it to the practicality. That is why I'm sharing lot and lot of cases, and all that I'm sharing are real life examples. Okay, nothing is made out like that. You have been experienced day in day out. So relate the topic to the way you see things. You visualize, and you are doing it daily. So once you gain an understanding of the way things are moving, that is going to help you remember that aspect easily. जब उस चीज को आप देखते हैं, अगर आप उसके काम करने के तरीके को समझ लेंगे, तो याद रखना आसान हो जाएगा. Then you will not have to put lot of effort in remembering because you have understood it how it is going. Okay, uh, then how to study? So that is what Sahu SK wants to know. So let me do it in few couplets. हिंदी की 2 लाइन शेयर करता हूं, फिर अपन विल कन्वर्ट दैट इनटू इंग्लिश आल्सो. बट एंड वी नीड टू थैंक द पोएट हु राइट दैट wrote those lines. So I'm doing it in Hindi, then I'll convert it into English with the meaning of it. So it goes like that. तैरती तो लाशें हैं, डूबने के लिए जिंदगी चाहिए. नाउ पहले हिंदी में मतलब कर ले. भाई तैरती तो लाशें का मतलब क्या, कि अगर आपका जो नॉलेज है वो सुपरफिशियल होगा, मतलब सतही होगा, तो आप एक लाश की तरह पानी में तैर रहे होंगे. पर अगर आपका जो नॉलेज है वो ज्यादा होगा, गहरा होगा, तो आप पानी की गहराई में जा पाएंगे. तो तैरती तो लाशें हैं, डूबने के लिए जिंदगी चाहिए. सो द वे इट गोज इन इंग्लिश इज that see superficial knowledge will keep you on the like a dead body floating on water, but if you have deep knowledge, deep understanding, then you can go down deep in water. So तैरती तो लाशें हैं, डूबने के लिए जिंदगी चाहिए. That is the way I think we must all study. Try to gain as much understanding of the business process to which you relate to. Of course, I realize that 100% of that is not possible. Your experiences are not that broad as of now. But if I start making an effort to upgrade myself in that manner, then my learning will be phenomenal. Yes. And uh, so, okay. Then, yes. So, my best wishes are all with you, and you become chartered accountants. And then, once You become chartered accountants. I am absolutely sure that we are going to meet again, you as a CA and me as a CA. Then Brinda has a question. Can we write head points in an answer in our own words, or is it? Yeah. See, to me, see, head points is summary. So if logically head points you can create the meaning that is intended, then you write in your own words. Head points also you can write in your own words. Logically, they must relate to what is given in the module. No restriction. But the only point is that because head points will have 4, 6 words, so it's better to carry those head points and the explanation you give logically. So that is going to add a lot of value. Okay. Then that is what I wanted to say. Thanks. It has been great journey. I enjoyed being with you. The interaction that you have been doing, it has been great. Yes. So shall we close it? Okay. So let us close. My best wishes to all of you. Only one last point is, if you have any query on the subject, kindly do send it to Institute's email ID. They, Board of Studies, they very ethically send all queries and I respond to them. So it'll get back to you. So any query you have, please do it. Okay. Thank you, Ankit. And my best wishes. So we'll meet as members in the same profession. So let us close it. Thank you. Bye. We are closing.